Good afternoon, I'm Rachel, and this is my wonderful audience. We're starting with Ted. Dad, turn around.
Hello.
This is Kylie.
Hello.
Turn around.
Hello.
This is my mother-in-law, Cindy.
Hi.
This is Nadia.
Hi.
And the cameraman, Chad.
You forgot the dog.
Hello.
And this is our dog, Buck. Speak, Buck. That's how we like you. And today, we are talking about how socialism is good for America. First, why socialism? So the 1% is pretty much taking all of the wealth of all the middle class and taking it for themselves. They have enough wealth to take up all of the middle class. This is not good. They should not have enough wealth to combine to have all the wealth of the middle class. And they're not paying taxes because what they do is have these little foundations that they put into, and then they put it towards their taxes and say, okay, well, I don't have to pay taxes, so they put enough, instead of paying taxes, they put enough money into those foundations, and most of them are things that they own, and then they say, okay, well, I donated to this, so I don't have to pay taxes now. So we have to hold them responsible, and once we do that, we can start doing other things in America. Socialism, a lot of people say, is communism. It's really not. Communism, the government pretty much is the owner and decision maker of all matters. Socialism allows citizens to make the decisions for themselves. Everyone starts off as equals, and then when they go to school, they can make their decisions from there on what they want to do. So that's where it differs. The government does not own your house, whereas communism does. They own all land and property. So that's the difference between socialism and communism. Socialism believes that capitalism is bad because capitalism allows the 1% to own more. So the few, the one percenters as we call them, become very, very wealthy, and the middle and lower class don't actually get to get out of that hole, and it's this constant loophole. So under democratic socialism, you'll see Medicare for all, free college, and an increase on the rich. So the tax on the rich. The tax haven't been paying taxes, or the rich have not been paying taxes for a very long time. For this reason, people like Bernie Sanders and AOC, they want to start taxing the rich and start programs like Medicare for all and free college. This is one of their big things. And they want to make them pay higher amounts of taxes. Bernie specifically wants to start taxing the billionaires 52%. That's his big increase there. You can actually look up his plan online. And people with middle class, I've already looked up ours, we wouldn't actually see a tax increase under him. We'd see no increase, and they would see a huge increase, and they'd make about $1 million a year, a little more. Extreme wealth needs to be distributed out, and corporate America is one-sided making. Extreme wealth needs to be distributed out, and corporate America is one-sided, making few rich and the rest remain poor. So basically, what that is, so everyone else is just staying poor. Under Bernie Sanders' plan, the poor are just constantly suffering, but the rich are constantly getting everything. So we can't actually do anything. So these tax increases are going to help not just the tax, our country's, I don't know how to say university, but our country's debt, but it's going to help with the programs that Bernie Sanders wants to put in place, like Medicare for all and the college. Nadia, flip the screen, please. So Elizabeth Warren had suggested a 2% wealth tax a couple years ago. This could raise enough money over the next few years to support many programs that we want to run. Many Americans struggle to maintain an emergency fund of $400, and if they actually had something arise, like a car damage or something, they would go into debt just to have to pay these. People think we're a rich country, but not so much true, because a lot of people would actually, if they lost their job, couldn't afford to. I actually had a lady come up to me yesterday. She couldn't buy a bag of popcorn because she lost her job. I gave her a number to Spectrum. So yeah, I've taken a job at McDonald's just to briefly be able to get a job. Or to pay for food. I held a job there a couple of times, and to pay bills. So the job market is not always a good indicator of how we're doing as an economy. So people will take jobs at Chick-fil-A, they'll take jobs at McDonald's, Walmart, anywhere they can get a job just so they don't sink. You can't always count on that, because they'll take 2 to 3 jobs at a time just to make sure they don't have, just to make sure they are paying bills. If we tax the rich, we'll see, we'll be able to make sure we pay for different programs. It'll support the lower class, and we'll be able to pay off the national debt with it slowly, but obviously we'll be able to pay off some of that, because they have enough money in the upper class to be able to bring down some of those burdens. So right now I'm going to college, and many of my classmates are also going to college. So as we're going to college, you might see a lot of us are getting student loans built up. Under a democratic socialist, you won't see that student loan debt. That's something that a democratic socialist believes should not exist. We will also have in the future economic success. As people are going to school, they'll be getting jobs that they want. With my last associate's degree, I had a huge debt. It took me a while to pay off. We ended up taking out of our savings account and just paying it all off at once. But I see a lot of people with a student loan debt because they can't get out of that hole, or they just don't get a job afterwards because the degree was not something they were satisfied with, and they made a mistake. But this is something that should be coming in place, where our nation is looking into state school for lower and middle class. Upper class don't have a problem paying that bill, but it should really be something that we address, and soon. Democratic socialists don't believe that the upper class should be getting college for free. That is not something that they ever thought of. Donald Trump's kids should not be going to school for free. So, Nadia, flip. So how will we pay this? Essentially, Bernie Sanders' tax increase is so large on the upper class that it should be able to pay for that and the Medicare for all. Under this, they'll still be making millions of dollars a year, so it shouldn't affect them at all. These are billionaires we're talking about, multi-billionaires, so they won't even notice a change. The tax increase would easily fund many of the programs that the Democratic Socialists wish to fund. So free medical insurance is something that should be a right for all American citizens. This is something that I strongly support. As someone that has a disability, I think that everyone should have this as a basic right. Nobody should go to the hospital and not have the ability to pay for their insurance or their medical or come out in debt from it. There was a vet that actually went to a Bernie Sanders rally recently, and he wanted to just end his life. He was $140,000 in debt, and it actually caused some of the supporters of Bernie Sanders to start a GoFundMe account. They got about $44,000, I checked today, raised for him, but still doesn't even put a dent in the $140,000 that he has. And this was just a new thing that happened with him, unfortunately. So they got that to him, but it's still going. But still, nobody should have medical debt. In Europe, I went to the hospital for an MRI and I paid $25 for it. Here it would cost me thousands of dollars. I mean, Tristan's stay at the hospital was millions of dollars. My stay in Europe for Kylie, 3 months, he was in for 6 weeks. I think I would have paid $3,000. So there's a big difference. I was in 3 months, he was in 6 weeks. And when he got the estimated benefits, there was a huge difference. So, yeah, it's just a big difference. So here I put up here for just mine and my Tristan's medicines. Tristan's would be $142.98 a month. Mine would be $1,219.58 a month. Now I did have experience buying a year's worth of medicine. It was $300 in Europe for a whole year for my medicine. And this is what I would be spending for 1 month. So that's a big difference in socialist medicine. I don't know what Tristan would be because we didn't have to buy his over there. The insulin in America costs thousands of dollars a month. They've already looked at this because people are actually suffering in America, and then in Canada it's $300. That insulin was sold for $1 to Big Pharma. That's insane. They wanted to keep it cheap and it's not. So I'm a little concerned with this, as people with diabetes are dying because of that. So Bernie Sanders plans on using the tax increases to pay for this, and AOC is not running for president. That's Alexandria Cortez, or yeah, the senators. So they plan on using the tax increases to pay for this, and that'll actually cover it. Plus some. You can click my. So, in no way should the top 1% have more wealth than the middle class. We need to start standing up for our rights and start doing it now. We need to do it for not just us, but for our grandkids, our kids, and future generations. This has to change, and we have to change it now. We have to stop this injustice. It's all I can say. We have to change the whole Donald Trump scenario. We have to get someone better in there, or else it's never going to change.